Question, we woke up to an alarming headline on the back of the paper this morning.
It was probably a, how am I going to say it to not offend you, Springer?
You won't offend me, Justin.
All right. Yeah, it was just a headline, Bobby. It's a headline. One thing I've learned very clearly in the last few months is we're not going to, the WACA are going to play out contract negotiations through the media. I think we've learned our lesson from that the last 6 months or so. So it sounds like a good headline, but the way Marcus North's having a stellar career, he's been a fantastic player for Western Australia. We're on top of the table, which we haven't been for a long time. So I'm sure he will be a very valuable member of West Australian cricket for a long time to come, unless he wants to retire.
Can you see any reason why he would want to go elsewhere, for example?
No, I can't.
Can you see any reason why the WACA wouldn't renew his contract?
No, I can't.
Okay, as you said, you're enjoying a stellar season. You've already got one piece of silverware, and you're staring down the barrel of the prize again for the first time in, 15 years?
Yeah, it's been so exciting. I mean, the most exciting, yesterday you couldn't have written that script. I mean, we saw it a bit with the Australians last night, but to see those 6 wickets fall for 3 runs, I think it was, I guess you always, as a coach, you turn up. We were nervous of what happened in the last game against Queensland last year when the prize was so big for us. For us to do the exact opposite and play so well with so many young players, not only exciting for yesterday and for the next couple of weeks, but it's very exciting for the next few years.
What's the scenario for the Warriors to host the Shield final, given that you qualified?
Well, I guess the brilliant thing is that, and I said it with the Scorchers, and it's a bit of a cliche, but at least we've got destiny in our own hands, really, because we play New South Wales in the last game. We get to play Queensland in the next game, so it all comes down to winning enough games and being on top of the table to have the final here. So it was a huge buzz for us to have the Scorchers final here. It'd be nice to have the Sheffield Shield final here, but that's a long way away at the moment.
You've been in this position a couple of times in the last few seasons where you've been in touch to make a Shield final but haven't quite made it. Do you do anything differently now going into the last 2 games? No,
not really. I sense a different feeling. There's a different confidence around the team. The young guys get in an environment where they're learning how to win now. Dare I say, there've probably been a lot of the young guys coming through in the past have been in an environment where they haven't been winning. So whether it's through the Scorchers or the BBL or whether it's through the Sheffield Shield, we've won 4 Shield games this year, 3 of them at home, so we're making this our home turf again, which is good. We'll just keep going about our business the way we're going and keep playing as good a cricket we can.
Prepare any differently for the day-night series coming up?
Well, it's a day-night game, yeah, and it's with pink balls. None of us have seen them. We've seen them sitting in my office, but we're going to practice here under lights on Thursday night. Once again, the WACA provide a great facility for us to do that, so we'll practice under lights with the pink balls. The boys will get the pink balls, batting and bowling against them in the next few days. It's unusual, but it is what it is, and we keep talking about the system we work in. We'll make the most of that and make sure that we're hopefully better prepared than Queensland and make the most of the conditions regardless of what they are.
Did you play in a game when they played with orange balls back a few years ago?
Yeah, I think orange and yellow at one stage. I think we've tried orange balls and we've tried yellow balls. The yellows ones were difficult because while we played under lights, you actually couldn't see it. The spectators couldn't see the ball in the background. So I guess the pink, actually when you look at them now, they're quite bright. So that's not going to be an issue for the spectators, I wouldn't have thought. But look, I know that there's been a lot of talk about Test cricket, day-night Test cricket in the future. So I guess this is one of the steps towards implementing that.
How's Nathan Coulter-Nile travelling with the injury?
Well, I know he's leaving on the 3rd of March, and he's been doing all his rehab. He's been very good with his rehab, so I'm sure he'll be right for South Africa.
Can I just ask one about Sauce as well? Obviously not a great test for him in South Africa. What does he need to do to bridge that gap between his best and worst? Everyone was saying it's a career-defining innings in the first test, but then he's gone out and got a pair. So what does he need to do to close that gap?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Maybe it's nerves, maybe it's just that initial stage of his innings. I know he's working very hard on that. He looked brilliant in the first test on a very tough wicket. So, and he walked in yet last night when the ball was reverse swinging. There's probably, besides facing spin bowling in India, there's nothing harder than walking in the middle order when the ball's reverse swinging. So it was unfortunate he didn't get a start, but he's such a good player. He hasn't lost his talent or hopefully his confidence in 5 days. He's a very good player, and let's hope he can turn it around for the 3rd test.
After the Shield, can we win?
Yeah, well, I've said all along, I'm not going to promise any results. We're in a very good position now, aren't we? We're top of the table. We haven't been in this position for some time, I wouldn't have thought. So we've got a lot of, if we can keep our bowlers fit, a bit like the Australian team, if you can keep Michael Hogan and Jason Berendorf, Ryan Duffield fit, and we can keep getting unbelievable output from Marcus North, Adam Voges, and Sam Whiteman is another one who's been outstanding. So if they can maintain their form, and then some of the other guys can keep improving and stepping up, some of the young guys, well, there's no reason why we can't keep getting better. I still don't think we've played our best cricket yet.
You mentioned North in that. How inspirational has it been for the younger guys to see him go through what he went through last year and really bounce back to almost career best form?
Yeah, he's been brilliant. He honestly, without getting too philosophical, you judge someone's character by the way they come back from adversity. He went from being the West Australian captain to being dropped from the side, and then to bounce back here to be the leading run scorer this year. Bowling, he's brilliant around the group. Like, he's been fantastic. The young guys love having him around. His example, not only on the field but off the field, talking to the young players, has been inspirational. So that's why I was surprised with the headline this morning. I think he's got so much more to offer, and I'm sure he'll be, as long as he wants to do it, only he can answer that, but as long as he wants to keep doing it, hopefully he'll just get better and better.
And just on the scoreboard, what's one of your favourite memories, whether as a kid looking up at a certain score or batting here? Or
I used to love watching, when I was a little kid coming, I used to love watching Kim Hughes bat here. I used to love the Lily chant, and Rod Marsh in the bat. I also remember the 2 games of club cricket they used to play here when I was a real youngster. They used to play 2 games of club cricket here on the weekend. So I remember watching my uncle Robbie play for West Australia here. So many fond memories. I pinch myself every day that I can work here now.
One thing Marcus said yesterday was that this is the most ruthless and composed WA team he's played in. You played with him for 6 or 7 years. Is that a fair assessment, do you think, of where the team is at the moment?
Yeah, I think they seem to be very focused, and they're working. Hopefully we're starting to get some rewards for all the hard work. I mean, the winter, I know not everyone was there. The winter was pretty brutal in terms of their pre-season, and we always knew that was hopefully going to be very important, not only physically but also mentally. We've talked about, we've got very simple game plans, and the guys, when you've got guys like Michael Hogan who can administer or execute the game plans, you've got Adam Voges, the captain, who's stepping up. We always think that it's very important for the captain to be playing at his best. Adam Voges is doing that at the moment. Jason Berendorf keeps improving, and he knows what his game plan is. So we've got an athletic fielding side, we're fielding pretty well, we can keep getting better. So there's a good feeling, and confidence is also an amazing thing. If you win 4 of the last few Shield games, coming off the back of the BBL where a lot of the guys were involved, confidence is an incredible thing, individually and collectively.